5.8 day 2, what we're going to do is we're going to get 3 random points on a parabola, and we're going to develop a function, and we're going to see, wait a second, how does this connect to something that we've already learned? How are we going to use this for a final? So, first example, we're going to write the quadratic equation containing the points -4, 2, 1, 2, and -2, -4. Let's review standard form, because that's what we're going to use. Standard form of a parabola or of a quadratic equation. Standard form is ax squared plus bx plus c. And the thing about it is we're going to use every single one of these points and plug them in to figure out, okay, we're going to plug in each one of these points and we're going to get 3 equations. And then we're going to use substitution and elimination to figure out how can we use substitution and elimination to figure out the A coefficient, the B coefficient, and the constant. So here's what I mean. Let's take the first point, -4, 2, plug 2 in for the y coordinate, and -4 in for the x. So one of our equations that we're going to use is 2 equals 16a minus 4b plus c. Using the second point, the 1, 2, I'm going to plug in, okay, 2 into the y coordinate, 1 into each x, and use this transformation as my next equation. X coordinate is -2 that I'm plugging in. And I get a new equation of these were those really hard problems where we had to do elimination twice. We had to eliminate the same variable twice. So we eliminate the same variable twice, and then we use our 2 new equations to do elimination a third time to figure out one of the coefficients. If we eliminate C, using the first 2 equations. So using first 2 equations, but before I do that, let's multiply the bottom equation by -1. Multiply the bottom, or the second equation I should say, by -1, giving us -2 equals -a minus b minus c. And let's combine these 2 equations. So one of our new equations will be 0 equal to 15a minus 5b. Typically when we learn this lesson, what we did a second time, so this is going to be one of my equations that I use later. Now I'm going to pick 2 new equations, which, by the way, I'm probably just going to pick the second 2, and eliminate C again. You eliminate the same variable twice. And I'm still going to keep this -1 being multiplied by this entire equation. So I'm going to write it below here. That middle equation becomes -2 again equals -a minus b minus c. And that bottom equation let's eliminate C again. We get a new equation. -6 equals 5a minus 3b. So after moving it, 5, that was a misprint, should be a 3. I'm going to use this equation that just deals with A and B, and this equation that just deals with A and B, and eliminate a third time. So I'm going to choose either A to eliminate or B to eliminate. So when I eliminate those two, I'm going to take this bottom one and multiply it by -5. So new equation for that one. And then I'm just going to copy this one and put it above it. So a third elimination. I get -30 equals just 10b. So another typo, +30. So after the typos, we realize, okay, 30 equals 10b, so that means the b coefficient needs to be 3. So we've got one of them. B has to be 3. But that's not the answer. It's just helping us map out. When we did this in this lesson, after we found a variable, we plugged it into one of our equations to figure out the other variable. And when I say one of our equations from the just recent elimination, I'm going to pick this equation to plug 3 into. So if I start to solve, trying to figure out what A is, add 15 to both sides, divide by 15, I realize that the leading coefficient is 1. To find the constant term, I'm going to have to plug it into maybe one of my, I can't say original because these were original, but maybe one of my simplified original. So, this one looks the simplest, this one in red. 2 equal to A plus B plus C. So after moving some things around, I'm going to use this equation to plug in 1, plug in 3. So 2 equals 1 plus 3 plus what to get 2? I'm going to have a negative number somehow. Going to be -2. Constant term is -2. Point of this was to write a quadratic equation containing these points, and the equation is going to be y equal to the leading coefficient 1, x squared, plus b x plus the constant term. But wait a second, constant term is -2, so I'm just going to put in -2. Here's the quadratic equation that contains these 3 points on its parabola.